me get a notepad out. From my viewing point, it was almost worth removing entirely and saying to hell with the tournament integrity. They were exciting, but we had to wait 15 minutes until they were. It was bad. I mean, there's no question about it. All right, so really quick. We're gonna really quickly, really quick. I'm gonna talk about after viewing the tournament yesterday and casting all of those games. These are the main things I think would make the game more exciting to watch and much more exciting to play in general. So these are my main issues with BFA PvP as of last weekend, okay? So these are the things I'd like to see the change. If I could create a list of the things that matter the most, this would be it. Tank, trinkets. Now, we saw these tank trinkets implemented yesterday. Obviously, they were very good. They extended the game to a crazy place. I don't think anyone thinks these are good for the game. Tank trinkets, I hope these get changed. I'm sure they will. I think it was one of those things that were sort of unforeseen and then, yeah, not that great. Second, Frost Mage snares. Absolutely out of control. Right now, it feels like mages are forced to play a really weird playstyle where your damage is so inconsequential and so insignificant that your best friend is to prevent the enemy team from doing damage. One of the ways they do that is with snares. You just have the best snare in the game. It's easy to run away from melee, and then eventually, when those melee can't catch you, you're just gonna do your ranged damage, which isn't necessarily the best, and then yeah, it's still gonna be enough in dampening. It reminds me of, like, what we saw from Frostmage today reminds me of high dampening, like Resto Druid Frostmage 2s that I used to play, where all you do is snare and eventually they just can't heal through it. What I'd really like to see for Frost Mages, and basically all of the mage specs, is more damage. More damage, less snares. That's what I want to see from mages, and I don't mean necessarily instant damage, but I'd really like to see Frostbolt damage brought to a level where it's not completely worthless. There's number 2, okay? Another huge issue I have, and I'll be very specific with this, is instant hybrid healing, okay? Instant hybrid healing is unbelievable to me right now. Classes like Feral Druids, Retribution Paladins, I'm sure there's others, just, it's out of control. It's ridiculous. Even Demon Hunter healing is really good. I would like to see instant hybrid healing brought down and heavily nerfed. And I mean, I feel like Hybrid's casting heals isn't necessarily nearly as bad because there is counterplay to it. So if an Elemental Shaman, for example, is casting heals, that's not as big of a problem as an Enhancement Shaman throwing out instant healing, or a Feral Druid throwing out instant healing, or Word of Glory. So even Word of Glory, even if you're trading off damage, you should never be able to give yourself 60% of your health heal, in my opinion. Azerite trait stacking, that's the next thing. Azerite trait stacking. A lot of classes, all they have going for them right now is the fact that they can stack a trait and one-shot you. Perfect example is Windwalker Monk. There was other examples in the past with rogues. Those all got heavily nerfed. It's a big problem because basically what happened, in my opinion, is, Feral Bite is another example, is basically what happened, in my opinion, is these classes revolved around those traits so much that it really skewed people's opinion of how much damage they can do. So for example, Windwalker Monks might seem ridiculous with Serenity, but outside of Serenity, they don't do anything. So I would like to see Azerite trait stacking not be a thing. Like, there should be heavy diminishing returns on Azerite trait stacking. And then I think in general, consistent damage should go up. Like for a lot of these classes, yeah, damage should be brought up so they're not a one-trick pony with their Azerite trait stacking. Consistent damage should go up a little bit. Let me fix my mic. Oh yeah, so I think some healers just have way too efficient, way too good of heals. So examples for me are like Resto Shaman. Like I can't help but feel like Riptide heals for a little bit too much, and even if it doesn't heal for, like, even if it stayed the way it does, like, I feel like Resto Shaman and Resto Druid mana regeneration is just way too good. Like, I actually believe that Holy Paladins, Discipline Priests, Mistweaver Monks, like their mana regeneration where they actually is a good thing. Like, I think that should be something teams can play around and sort of abuse, and they should go for drinks, and healers should eventually run out of mana, in my opinion. And obviously you could be like, it's not fun for me as a Disc Priest when I'm running and the resto shamans and the resto druids are just running around with full mana. But hopefully, you know, that kind of thing gets nerfed. I don't know if they need to reintroduce those cool mana abilities for the other respects, or they just need to reduce the effectiveness for Resto Shaman and Druid, or some sort of compensation in one way. And other classes, my biggest classes that I hate right now, like I think when I was watching a Windwalker Monk play compared to a Demon Hunter, I was like, man, that's crazy. Like I really didn't realize how much Demon Hunters had. Like, they actually have like, I was thinking about rolling a Demon Hunter. Like, Demon Hunter seems so cool. They seem like a fun Windwalker. You know what I mean? Like, they seem like a Windwalker with a good toolkit. Warlocks have a really weird thing right now. Like, Warlocks and Shadow Priests are really weird to me. So, Shadow Priests, here's another thing. Shadow Priests have a really interesting damage mechanic with Void Form, and the fact that they're incentivized to never use it, sit on all of their insanity, their main mechanic, is really goofy to me. I think something needs to be done for both Warlocks and Shadow Priests to make them tanky. I think Edge of Insanity is not the answer for Shadow Priests, and I actually think it makes them a lot less cool and a lot less enjoyable to play. So anyways, yeah, Edge of Insanity is ridiculous for Shadow Priests. Both Warlocks and Shadow Priests need something. Yeah, they need something. Warlocks are... I feel like they need like an overhaul at this point. Like no amount of walls are gonna help them out. I feel like Warlocks need consistent damage reduction, and yeah, well, I don't know what they can do. I'm not a game designer, like, but yeah, there's no question about it. So, what else? What else is really ridiculous right now? But yeah, you're right, Chun-Li. Demon Hunters feel like, when I look at Demon Hunters, I'm like, okay, wait, Demon Hunters have offensive dispel, defensive dispel. They literally can just jump around and fly around the entire map. They do, you know, 11k DPS in a game. They're essentially impossible to kill with the amount of defensives they have and the self-healing that they have. They remind me of like old Windwalker Monks, except potentially even better. The mana burn, like what? But yeah, I'd say these are like the main issues I see in the game right now. Oh, Resto Shaman and Spirit Link. Spirit Link. That's very important to talk about. Spirit Link is horrible. There should be essentially no circumstances where this talent should be fine. Like, I really hate Spirit Link. I hate everything about it. I really hate it a lot. Holy Paladins are fine, man. Like, I actually think Holy Paladins are fine. Disc Priests are fine. Mistweavers are fine. I just think these two healers are too good. And I mean, some people like the philosophy.
So sick.
Some people that, yo, thank you, Bruce. Appreciate that very much, my man. Welcome. Some people have the philosophy, they're like, well, you shouldn't nerf classes, you should buff classes. And it's like, well, if you brought Mistweavers and every other healer to the level of Resto Shaman and Resto Druid, the games would just be boring and dampening, and your damage doesn't matter, and yeah, it's just not fun to play against. Yeah, that's my thing. Those are my thoughts. Well, what do you guys think? Let's have an open conversation about this really fast. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you guys think I'm on point with what I'm saying, or do you think I'm full of poop? I don't know. I mean, DKs need like, here's DKs are basically Frost Mage status. DKs are kind of the same to me. Death to Night. Chains of Ice needs a nerf. Chains of Ice is an extremely broken mechanic. No class in the game should have that that powerful of a snare. The only snare I think should be that good is Cone of Cold. Like not trying to be biased, I actually think Cone of Cold should be more powerful than everything else because it has a long cooldown and you're a Frost Mage. But I think in general all Frost Mage snares need to be brought down. Chains of Ice should be brought down, and Death Knights should just do probably more damage and be a little bit tankier, you know?